welcome to another episode of Yes Users podcast. Today, our guest is Mr. Santanu Mukherjee. He's definitely a very interesting personality and one of the nicest guy I have met recently. Here are the highlights of the podcast.
I would mention that year 2020
Yeah.
this has been a very deciding year for digital marketing because we have seen one of the worst time in human civilization. It is all about the audience. So previously it was about the platform. Now it is about the audience. Three important W's: why you, why true, and why now. More importantly, my friends used to think that I do the most comfortable job in the world because Shantanu, you go to office to do Facebook. That's wonderful. I can keep it in my
Last में ये शायराना हो गया माहौल. So now, as you might have seen or heard in the highlight, that we are definitely going to have a very interesting conversation. So let me introduce Mr. Santanu Mukherjee. He's a digital marketing expert. He has been running IndusNet Technologies for past 15 years. So without wasting any further time, let's welcome him to Yes Users podcast. So Shantanu sir, welcome to Yes Users podcast. How are you feeling?
Thank you. I'm feeling great. And it's absolutely wonderful to interact with you.
It's completely our pleasure. So, sir, you so far had a very interesting journey. So, can you share your story from being a writer to becoming an award-winning digital marketer?
I think writer is an overhyped word for me. Definitely, I enjoy writing, but there is a certain category of people whom you can really classify as writers. So, writing started as a part of my hobby when I was in school. So, I used to write short stories, I used to write poems. So, that was absolutely my hobby and nothing to do with anything that I dreamt of. So after I left school, I joined my college, did graduation in science. My subject was chemistry. And then suddenly I started feeling the inclination towards creative things. My dad was into advertising, and I still remember that I started my professional writing when I used to help him with certain jingles, certain slogans, or captions. So that's how I thought that, okay, this can also be a profession that writing for the clients. But began like this. So I started my career as a computer teacher in a reputed institute of Kolkata. And then I moved to for a government job where I used to develop softwares for disabled people. So that was my subject. And then from there, in INT around 17 years back, the story goes 17 years back, when suddenly there was an information that INT, the Industry Technologies, is looking for writers. We can, at that point in time, we used to call technical writers who can write or can document technology in terms of, in simple words. So in today's world, we call them business analysts. So that's where I applied and I started my journey in INT as a technical writer. So while I was doing this technical writing and all, I already had a deep inclination towards advertising, since I said that my father was into traditional advertising in newspaper, TV, billboards, but my interest was in digital. So that's how I started, reading about more about the digital marketing, digital technology, how things are moving forward from here. And I found that actually my practice of writing is helping me a lot because what we say, content is the king. So if you can create content, you can definitely excel in the marketing field. The opportunity came quite suddenly. So I had no preparation. One fine morning, I was still the technical writer at that point in time. Our CEO, Mr. Abhishek, he called me one day and he said that, Shantanu, I feel from tomorrow, you can take charge of our digital marketing department. So I was a bit, perplexed. I was a bit tense that whether I'll be able to manage such a large responsibility or not. But as always, that I have been, looking for adventurous things. So I immediately said, okay, I'm game. So from next day, I suddenly found that yesterday I was writing for people, and for the very next day I had a huge team reporting to me, where I was responsible to make sure the clients are getting the right ROI. But that was a learning phase for me for the next 3 to 5 years. And still, the learning phase still continues. You cannot stop learning at any point in time. But that was a time that I was stepping into the world of digital marketing. So it was a nice journey from then onwards. So interacting with clients, trying to understand their problem, trying to work with the team to create the strategy, analyzing the results, and as it started from there, still it is continuing in its own course. So that's the journey. That's how, from a writer, I got into the field of digital marketing.
Very interesting. Thanks a lot for that context. So tell us about, since you started, how have you seen the digital marketing landscape evolve over the years?
Oh, this is a very difficult question to answer, because digital marketing is a super fast changing field. So what I feel, that if you stop learning, if you stop reading about digital marketing for a month, it will be obsolete. So this is the pace that this marketing thing is changing. So if I need to put it in terms of examples, around 15 years back, digital marketing was all about web presence, that someone can find your company or your brand or your product on the web. So if someone can find, your job is done, clients are happy, you are happy. From finding your product, brand, or yourself in the net, now we have moved a long distance where people are no more happy if they find you. You have to match their needs. You have to address their pain points. You have to satisfy their requirements. And there, you need to exactly work on things in digital which will give back ROI to the client in what they're spending. So this is in terms of strategy. Now, if you think in terms of activities, so 15 years back, digital marketing was more task-based. So you exactly know that if I get a client, my job is to create a set of tasks. Like I need to write 5 contents, 10 contents a month. Then there were article publishing websites. I need to publish those sites. From those article publishing sites, I need to get a backlink to my website. So there were sites for directory submission. So it was all, task-based. But now it is more of strategy-based, where each and every time you need to ask yourself that why I need to do this task. It is no longer a compulsion. It is no longer that something that Google or any Facebook or Instagram will force you to do to get the popularity. It is all about the audience. So previously it was about the platform. Now it is about the audience. So whatever task you will derive from the strategy will come first. From that strategy, whatever task you derive, that has to be aligned with the audience need. So this is the transformation I have seen. And it is changing also very fast, because now user experience is also playing a very big role. So if you combine all these things, I will say that even a couple of years back, the way we look at a project is completely obsolete. Now, when we get a project, we look at it in a completely different perspective. Rather, instead a brand looking into the project, we try to look from an audience perspective. It's a reverse engineering. It's not what brand wants to communicate. It's what audience wants to hear. So are you developing your communication strategy based on the need in the market? And there are obviously there are exceptions. There are big brands who create the needs, but they are not in plenty of numbers. And for that, you have to be a very strong brand with a good legacy. People will look after you. So that's a separate entity altogether. But for the mass brands, you have to understand the need first.
Well said, sir. It's a great strategic advice. What I feel that, this was go from the ab initio of the digital marketing, but I think it took 15 years for people to actually realize that this is the better way to approach digital marketing.
Absolutely, because as I told you that it took 15 years to make people realize that marketing cannot be task-based. Marketing has to be strategy-based. But
it's just that at that time, whatever you were doing, it was generating enough leads for people to not like scratch their head and think out of the box, I would say.
See, anything new gets attention. So digital marketing at that point in time was so new in the market that even if you have done nothing, still you would get some traction because you are present. That's why I called web presence, because you are present. But now presence is something hygiene. You have to be present. Like I always say that you cannot set up a petrol pump within a forest.
Yeah.
So if you have invested to set up a petrol pump within a forest, you cannot make business out of it because there is no traffic. So that it is something that we have come a long way to learn. That obviously with the internet being free at that point in time, internet was paid. So other factors also contributed behind this huge change.
Yeah.
And also I would mention that year 2020, this has been a very deciding year for digital marketing because we have seen one of the worst time in human civilization, that is the COVID. Right. So during COVID, it actually made people more inclined towards the digital than ever. So if you think of a person who is 75 years old, that person wouldn't have even bothered to get a smartphone. But I have seen how a non-technical aged person is now ordering groceries from online stores. How a 75 years old lady has changed the medium of watching her daily soap from television to the OTT platform. So at that point in time, before 2020, anyone above a certain age range was never our target or matter of concern. But now, due to the huge digital penetration, we cannot ignore them anymore.
Absolutely. Great examples you gave. And it's very hard for people to understand the value of technology in the initial days, right? As you might have struggled with in 2004, 2005, making people understand why they should invest in SEOs, right? So
more importantly, my friends used to think that I do the most comfortable job in the world because Shantanu, you go to office to do Facebook. That is something that was the people perception of digital marketing, that this guy is very happy because he gets to do Facebook in office.
Yeah, trust me, I can understand that. I recently invested in a company which is called AI Monitor. So what they do basically is that, now what has happened in the last couple of years, the way we seek information has fundamentally changed, right? Earlier, when we wanted to look for anything, we used to go to Google. Now, more and more people are going to ChatGPT, Perplexity, and other AI platforms. Now, every company is focusing on SEO. but they are not looking at the fact as to how their brand or content is being represented on these large language models, right? So what AI Monitor does is essentially provides you tools. You can monitor your brands on, but for a particular prompt. So yeah, so again, we are them starting at the industry. We are the first people in the world who have actually named, who have coined, like somebody coined SEO, right? We have coined LSO, which stands for LLM Search Optimization, LSO. Obviously, it's a growing field. We are providing tools and the services for people who want to kind of, are early adopters in that. And again, there are huge benefits of that, because imagine how easy was SEO in early 2000, right? Now the LSO is as easy as that.
Right, right, absolutely.
Right. So yeah, that's again, it's a great opportunity, new, upcoming field, which will be important, very important 15 years down the line. But right now, when I go there and try to convince people, it's not easy. It's not like, if I explain my concept to digital marketers, they get it immediately. But to a normal business, they have a little hard time understanding. So, yeah.
And for the businesses which are run by comparatively an older generation, so at that point in time, we had a hard time to explain that why you need to be in digital. They would love to invest in billboards. They would love to invest in newspapers, but digital is something which was alien to them. That's why I said that 2020 is a remarkable year. It has taken many things from us, but it has created a habit of people to be online.
Absolutely. So tell us about some of your secret sauce, some of the strategies that you deploy to make sure that your clients get higher ROI from their digital marketing expense.
Actually, there is no secret sauce as such, because every client has their unique need. So what I do is, when I start working with a new client, the very first thing I do is not to start the strategy right away. I love to spend time with the client, understanding the business, understanding the market, understanding the audience. If you don't understand these three things, you cannot create a strategy. I will explain you why. In digital, as I told you, that I look digital marketing from a reverse perspective, from an audience perspective. So what happens in digital, there are majorly three types of audience. One we call search audience. Second one is profile audience. Third one is contextual audience. Who are search audience? Search audience are those people who will go to Google and will Google about your business to find you. Example, hotel industry. If you are working for a renowned hotel, Google is the most important platform for you, because you need to understand the human psychology. You are going for a trip in Simla, in Rajasthan, wherever you can think. To find a hotel, you will rely on Google. You will search with either 3-star hotels in Shimla, 5-star hotel in Rajasthan. If you are looking for a economical option, budget hotels in Shimla, budget hotels in Rajasthan, sea-facing hotels in Goa, in Puri, because this is a huge search-dependent industry. Next important is, this is a review-dependent industry. Once we choose a hotel, we will go to the different aggregator sites to read the review. That is how you will make the decision. You will not be influenced by a Facebook post. And you will not say, I have posted in my Facebook that I have been to Goa, I have stayed in such and such hotel, and I had a good experience. Probably I will be an influencer for you, but you will still pick up the name of the hotel, go to Google and search. That is the user behavior for a hotel industry. So if my client is from a hospitality industry, from a hotel industry, my strategy will start from Google. Now let me come to the next one, which is the profile audience. Profile audience means where I will target my audience based on their profiling. I'll give an example. Say a FMCG brand. They are coming up with a new type of cookies biscuit. And they want to do a digital campaign. As I told you right now, that for hotel industry, I will start from Google. Now for these cookies, if I follow the same route, and if I start from Google, that what will be my search keywords, based cookies in India, chocolate chip cookies in India, I will be doing a big disaster because I have never searched Google to buy a cookies or a packet of biscuit. That's not the user behavior. So I need to rely on the social platforms like Facebook, Insta, where I will appear in front of my audience with my messages, with the images, and then make people to take their decision. See, in today's world, knowingly or unknowingly, we every day feed data about ourselves to social media. What I like, what I dislike, what is my buying habit, what is my, when I travel somewhere, I like mountains, I like seas, whatever. We are continuously feeding this data to social media, and the social media is creating our profiles. So if I have to do marketing for a luxury brand, say a car for above 1 year, I will definitely do Google, but in social media, I have option to choose those people who are high net worth individuals or HNI society. But I have not disclosed my salary to Facebook. So how Facebook knows? Facebook knows through my lifestyle. What people does? People usually go to an airport and then they put traveling from Kolkata to Amsterdam, Kolkata to New York in business class. So how frequently you are updating? That's how Google is profiling you as HNI. From which phone you are posting. If it's a high-end phone costing 1.5 lakhs or more, Google is profiling you as HNI. So when I am advertising for that 1 CR car, I have that opportunity that I can tell Google that I want to show this ad to these type of people. Third, very important is that my content or where my content can go in terms of blogs, microblogs, articles, or even certain display ads that you see in different websites. So these display ads are not because that you click, enter my website and buy a product, but it is continuously reminding me of the brand, of the advantages and USPs of the product. So that is how I try to create the strategy. Another thing is very important over here. I never, ever look the brand only from digital marketing perspective, because I believe in 360-degree marketing. It can't be that your product has a different design, a different caption, a different approach in a billboard, and your Facebook ad has something different to say. It should carry that sense. It should carry whatever, say, if you have first conceived the digital ad, the traditional ads should follow that. And if you have first conceived the traditional ad for a newspaper or a billboard, please take the open files and create your digital ads out of those. Please don't try to reinvent the wheel, because that will set a bad example and your brand won't have an uniform message. So people will get confused. So that's how, while I do the digital strategies, I try to understand what they are doing in the offline industry as well.
Right.
Depending on that, I create the entire digital strategy.
Yeah, very interesting observation, I must say, because I speak to a lot of digital marketers, and a lot of times I feel there's a saying that for a hammer, every problem is a nail, right? So when I'm speaking to digital marketers, they have to focus on their own field, right? But as you said, the better approach is to think it from the consumer's point of view. Where is your consumer? What kind of stuff is looking for? What is the consumer journey? How is he discovering you? Like, what is your brand image in the offline world, and what can you carry that over to the online world, right? That's really important. So, great suggestion there. So, my next question is, how do you, uh, how do you approach conversion rate optimization, and what are some of the key features you focus on?
Conversion rate optimization is very important, and this is something that we have learned over the last few years, that this is also important. So there are certain tactics that you need to apply, like A/B testing, where you have a design A and a design B, a content A and content B, run those parallel for 15 days, 20 days, and see which option is converting more. And then you fix that option and you take it forward from there. Then there is something called multivariant testing. So these are all technology things that you need to learn. But apart from that, if you look at a 10,000 feet above view, you need to understand the user experience. User experience is something, if we can improve, which we call UX in short, that will actually help to improve the conversion rate. One of the most key factors is when someone comes to your website, whether the person is comfortable or not, whether the person is finding what that person is looking for. If in internet, the patience level is very less. If you don't find something, you tend to leave the site. So I have seen certain websites where the most important message which someone will come to that website to find that message is in the second fold of the website. The second fold is you need to scroll the website to go to that part. And the first part is full of certain beautiful designed banners that does not communicate the core message of your brand. That does not have any call to action button. Say, for example, I have read something in your website, and suddenly I feel excited that I need to know more details about this, or I need to get this if it's an e-commerce site. But if I need to scroll and find where is the contact us button, where is the inquiry now button, then it's a disaster. So how to plan the information architecture in a way in your website, so whatever you are expecting your audience to find in your website is right in front of the eyes. In websites, we do not read content. We scan contents. And if I fill my website with chunks of text, expecting people to read because I am a wonderful writer, I am a wonderful creator, I have created some great piece of content, then I am residing in a fool's world. I have to give my information in a precise way, probably in form of bullets. And there are options. You can use read more button, that even after reading this, if someone feels interested, they can click the read more, go to a page with detailed elaboration and then read. But you cannot put all information in the landing page or home page or make someone frustrated that I don't have time to read so much content. So how you plan your information architecture is very important for conversion optimization.
Absolutely.
And,
Great suggestion.
and third one is
Yeah.
analytics.
Analytics. Yeah.
You cannot design a website, leave it like that, and do digital experiments if you are not following the analytics. Based on the data from which particular page my visitors are dropping off, why they are not clicking on a particular button, what difficulty my users are facing, if you are not getting it in form of a data, then it's a dangerous thing. If you get this data, there are plenty of paid tools available. Then there is Google Analytics. But you should get this data handy with you to take the next corrective action to increase or improve your conversion rate. So that's the 3 points I would like to mention if you want to improve your conversion rate.
Absolutely. Great advice there. But you have made a very strong case for the fact that your digital marketer and web designer should be the same person, right?
I will not say same person,
Your
but they
same
should
company.
work very closely.
Right.
But they should work very, very closely. And if they are from a different company,
right,
first thing that starts ego fight.
Right.
Digital marketer will say that you need to change this. And from the other company, the web designer will say, no, I have done things as per the rule, so you cannot change this. So these are the things that the friction happens if you have a separate web marketing team and a separate web designing team. But if it's in the same company, it's more smooth.
Yeah. No, see, that's exactly my case. But what I have also heard from a lot of my friends and startups that I interact with is that, digital marketer, you want to somebody who's very expert in digital marketing. A lot of times they don't have the skill set of web development. I know every digital marketing agency in the world also offers website, but the websites are very basic in nature. If the startups requirement are a little complex in nature, so a lot of times what they end up doing is that the front facing website, right, all the blogs, all the pages, they keep it with the digital marketer, but the back end, right, they create a different domain, like app.abc.com or something of that sort, and then they delegate that to the software developer they believe are doing, would be doing a much better job. So what is your advice on that?
See, at the end of the day, you need to understand the nature of the website. Digital marketing is not done for those pages which are digital marketing. I'll just correct my statement. SEO is not done to those pages which are behind the login. If you need to do login, then if you need to go to some page, there you need not to do SEO because it will not appear in the Google search index. Obviously, you need to do CRO because once you take someone to that page, then you need to make people buy or perform the action that is needed. So if you have a simple website where you need to only work on the front end, then what you're saying is valid. That there should be a subdomain that subdomain may be taken care by someone else, and you are working on the front fascia of the website. But for me, that for digital marketer, it is not important to know how to code in React.js. It is not important to know how to code in PHP. What is important for that person to know is something which I said called information architecture. How the information will flow. Because if you have a good coder with you, you can explain that person that I need this information in the first fold. I need, after someone sees the first fold, scrolls the second fold, this is the continuation. There are three important W's. These are why you, why true, and why now. Every website should answer these three questions. Why you means why I will do business with you, why I will purchase the product from you and no one else. Then why true? That's the sequence. If I have answered that you should buy this thing from me because of the following reasons, I need to rationalize why I am saying the truth. Because I will always claim myself that I'm best. But if I have supporting evidences like testimonials, I have a video testimonial of my customers, that establishes that what I have said is true. So why you? Why true? And third is why now? Why you should not wait? You should immediately contact me to create a sense of urgency. So to understand this, you don't need to understand coding. You don't need to do coding as well. But you can plan this information architecture, and you, with the help of a coder, you can design the website. And precisely that is something which actually inspired me to learn more about the technology subjects from being a digital marketer.
Very interesting. Shantanu sir, are you ready for the rapid fire round? Yeah.
Okay. I hope the questions won't be embarrassing for me.
The first question is tea or coffee?
Tea, anytime. Milk tea without sugar.
Okay. Your favorite digital marketing tool?
That's a good question. So I will answer it this way. First, the most important tool for me are my eyes. Very important.
Definitely.
You have to develop, because when we started digital marketing, there were very less tools that are available. We had to analyze websites just looking at it.
Right.
So eyes are very important. And jokes apart, now there are plenty of tools, but still Google Analytics is something which remains my favorite because it gives you plenty of insightful data. But apart from Google Analytics, you will find a lot of good paid tools which you can obviously explore.
Okay, very interesting. What is the most memorable project that you have ever worked on?
Very difficult to answer. I have worked over 1,000 projects in last 15 years. So it is like choosing one finger from my five fingers. So, but obviously there are certain challenges, certain interesting projects, certain projects where I have loved to work. So,
right.
So I will prefer not to choose any particular project out of it, but definitely there has been certain projects where I feel thrilled to work in.
Okay. So the next question is, one book you would recommend to aspiring digital marketers?
Obviously, Kotler is something that every marketer should read. Seth Godin is there. And there are other plenty of books which are available in the market. But YouTube is something. YouTube videos, podcasts, YouTube, you will find keynote in different conferences. Just check the number of views, check the profile of that person who is speaking as a keynote speaker in LinkedIn. If you find credibility, be married to those podcasts. Be married to those keynotes videos that are available. Most of the things which I learned, it's from YouTube.
Yeah, very well said. I couldn't agree more with you.
Whenever I take a flight,
right,
I always make sure I download few podcasts or YouTube videos in my iPad, and I spend actually 2 hours, 3 hours, wherever I am flying, just watching those podcasts and videos. It's a very good time. No one is disturbing you. We can learn a lot.
Absolutely. So what is the most used app on your phone? I think you have answered that question. It's YouTube.
Yeah, obviously YouTube.
Yeah. Absolutely. So the last rapid fire question is, what will be your advice to early stage startups who are planning to do digital marketing?
Be very focused.
Right.
You cannot do plenty of things at a time. That will defocus you. I interact with many startups. When I ask that what is the topmost priority, because you have a budget for constraint.
Right.
So when I ask what is the topmost priority, they say that, okay, everything is my priority. Everything cannot be a priority. You have to identify which is the most important thing for you, which is
Yeah.
the most important market for you.
Yeah.
There is no harm if you want to start in a very localized way, because Google local marketing is very powerful. But in day one, if you have a budget of 100 rupees and you want to target entire India, then there is nothing that impossible in digital marketing. But just think of a situation where you are investing an amount in a localized market, so the impact it will have by by the repeat views of your ads and posts. Once you are spreading that amount to the entire country, the frequency will come down. So be focused. That is the only piece of advice I can give at this point in time.
Very. I completely agree. And it's a easy advice, but it's very hard to implement because there's a saying in the startup world which says startups don't starve, they drown. Uh,
so
so,
there is a popular saying
right.
that it is so simple to be happy, but
Yeah.
it is so difficult to be simple. I
Absolutely.
love this statement.
Absolutely. I completely agree. Focus, being simple, and this may look as an easy way out, but trust me, it's one of the most one of
Yeah,
the difficult things that you can.
as Albert Einstein said, that you have not understood subject well enough if you cannot
Yeah.
explain it in a simple way.
Yeah, absolutely. And we keep on quoting quotes, but the last quote is I think it is from Mark Twain or Abraham Lincoln. So in that he said, I'm writing you a long letter because I didn't have time to write you a short letter. Right.
That's wonderful. I keep it in my desk.
Yeah. So people will say कि last में ये शायराना हो गया माहौल. But Shantanu sir, thanks a lot for coming on the Yes User podcast, sharing your insights and stories. It was really helpful.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful to interact with you as well.
Yeah,
So thanks for inviting me. I hope the session was good with you. Thank you so much.
we hope that too, sir. Thanks a lot. Thanks again to everyone for tuning in and your continuing support for Yes Users podcast and the mission we are on. If you like the podcast, please leave a review. It helps us a lot. Also, share it with someone whom you think will benefit from this. Subscribe, follow, comment, anything that you want to share with us. We are all ears. If you want to suggest our next guest, please do so in the comments below. This is your host Avinash signing off. See you in the next episode.